Hello and welcome to today's devotional. I'm Brent Van Hook. Thanks for joining us. I want you to know that we are praying for you, asking God to work in your lives in great ways. If there's any way we can help you, Susan and I are ready to help you in any kind of way. And in the meantime, we want you to know we are praying for you, believing God's best in your life. As part of that, we're giving attention this summer to a baseball diamond analogy as part of our Bible study, looking at the story of Joseph from the book of Genesis, and noting a few themes that we can relate to a baseball diamond. And this week in particular, we are giving attention to character, first base, the personal base, where our goal is to win within. The character meaning who we are when no one is around, to allow God to bring victory in those situations. So, one question that might arise is, well, what's right and what's wrong? How do I know what I should do? And how do I know what I should not do? How to tell the difference? There's so many voices today. How do we know? Kevin Myers talks about this in his book, The Home Run Life, giving an example from lines that are on a roadway and saying there are really two types of lines. One we might call the solid lines. We see that on roadways. Those are drawn for us and painted for us such that we know that in all situations we're not supposed to cross those lines. Now, why is that important? Because crossing it brings death. There's immense amount of danger across those lines, and in those kinds of situations we should never cross those lines. So the same could be true spiritually for believers, or for all people, that really to cross certain lines would be a sin. And where Scripture is clear about sin, we need to acknowledge that God has drawn a solid line. We don't erase or redefine what God has made a solid line. So when we think about that, that's one way of looking at some of the things that are true for everyone. Next, we might call it the dotted lines. These are the lines that are wrong for me. And Kevin says if you want to win your character battles within, you need to worry about observing the dotted lines God has given you without trying to impose them on everyone else. So, well, there may be some issues that are just wrong for you that would lead to a higher degree of danger if you cross them than other people who might cross them. But for you, it's just a situation that's just not that right for you. So, how can we discern this? Well, one of the ways that I'd like for you to journal today, consider journaling, is Genesis 39, 2 through 19. Just to go through that scripture and journal. What are the solid lines? Things that are wrong for everyone because it brings about danger and it would be a sin. And then if God is working in your life to say, here's a dotted line, something that just for you to be wise, to make the most of your life, to be a person of character. Not that it's wrong for everyone else, but for you, this would be a direction to take, to be wise and godly in your character. What would those dotted lines be? And I think we can discover some of those through this scripture. As you read this scripture, Genesis 39, 2 through 19, you're going to see some lines that are drawn relating to business, to marriage, to the single life, to possessions, to truth-telling, and much more. So that's for you today to consider what are the solid lines and what are the dotted lines, and how can I live my life in accordance with that. Remember, we are planning to meet on Wednesday, and as we do, perhaps we would like to hear any thought that you might have from the ongoing journaling that we're having for this week, which is what helps you win the 3-second windows. Our scripture there is Genesis 39:10. And what is going through Joseph's mind as he repeatedly makes the correct decision in the face of temptation? What are some thoughts, some scriptures, some sayings that can go into our mind that at a moment's notice can help us make the right decision? Be thinking about that, be journaling that. And then I thought we could just collect the answers that we have and let that be a document, a way of us having a resource to be thinking about ways that we can win the 3 second windows as we face temptation as we go forward in our lives. Okay, once again, we're praying for you, looking forward to seeing you Wednesday. May God bless you as you study His Word, as we think about things like solid lines, dotted lines, in order to win within and win the battle of having a godly character.